Okay, Kolthor looks ready to me. Or Calco looks ready to me, rather. Are you guys going to count it down? Should I do it for you?
Yep, go ahead and count down.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, so first off, there's about a 40-second intro. During that, really the first thing to talk about with Yoshi's Island is every single intro screen for every stage. If you don't press any buttons at all, it has sort of a timed set length, but if you mash every single button on the controller, it will actually decrease the amount of time that the intro screen stays on. So you'll see them right away mashing every single intro screen. And 1-1, there's really not that much to talk about. It's just your general movement. The main thing with this game is when you bounce off of an enemy, you get what's called an extended flutter. So you gain a little bit of extra height, and that's used right here in 1-1 in order to skip an intended beanstalk cloud. So that's 1-1. With the movement in this game, basically the goal is to avoid fluttering whenever possible. Fluttering is very, very powerful. It allows you to basically maintain your height as long as you want, but it's also slow. So what you'll see the runners doing is avoiding fluttering whenever possible. So anytime you see them flutter, it's basically because it's required in order to gain height or make it over a gap. And what they're doing right here is called 1-2 skip. They're trying to spit this daisy enemy into the wall, and it's a 1-frame trick. You have to spit the daisy out on the correct frame, and that allows you to skip one screen entirely. It has a long helicopter transformation and all sorts of other stuff.
Third try, not too bad.
One thing to pay attention to is in this category, you actually want to avoid red coins because when you collect a red coin or a flower, each time it adds, I think, 20 frames on that score screen. So in this level, you'll see some kind of difficult movement to avoid red coins.
Yeah, it's only the first one that you collect. I think it's like 28 or 30 frames, something around there. It's basically around half a second. And then each one after that only loses you 1 frame. So once you collect the first red coin or the first flower, then you don't really have to worry about avoiding any of the subsequent ones.
And as you can see, it's a difficulty trade-off because in trying to avoid a coin, Kolthor ended up dipping down for like just a little bit of a time loss. So usually, in order to avoid them, you sometimes run that risk of wasting more time.
Yeah, you definitely have a trade-off of it might cost you like 15 frames to like flutter under a coin, but then you also gain 15 frames by not collecting the coin. So. And also 1-3 is a very slope-heavy level, and one thing about slopes is running on slopes is very, very slow. So you will see Kolthor and Calco avoid slopes whenever possible, or they will try and jump off of slopes on the first possible frame. Oh, and to mention the egg making mechanic, the way that this game works is when you are jumping, as long as you are holding jump, you maintain your speed. So as long as you're holding down the jump button, you can let go of the D-pad and you will maintain your current velocity. And when this comes into effect with egg making, normally when you make eggs on the ground, you completely stop. But if you jump and tap down to make an egg, as long as you are not holding left or right, you will maintain your velocity and you can make the egg. So that's why you will commonly see them jump whenever they are turning an enemy into an egg.
Right there, Kolthor shot an egg at that pod that has the key. If you shoot it while it's off screen, you can make it fall enough so that it will break right there, and that saves a little bit of time.
And one thing with the keys that are in pots, the key will fly out towards the direction that Yoshi is facing. So you'll see them shoot the pot and then immediately face left, so the key flies to the left. And then this Bert the Bashful, you just have to hit him like 5 or 6 times and his pants fall off.
You gotta feel bad for this guy.
What do you mean? He's great to bring to parties. Look at him. Look at him.
So that went pretty well for both of them. Bert can be kind of annoying. If you shoot too early, the egg will bounce off the wall and become yellow, which means that when it breaks, there'll be like a coin inside the egg. And you can actually get a lot of lag frames by having the eggs bounce off the walls and change colors.
Yeah, not to mention Bert will go in the direction that the egg hits, so you can sometimes send him right at you.
And then 1-5, our first auto-scroller. There's not much to do here besides, again, avoid red coins and flowers, but besides that...
Don't die from swag.
Yeah, those kind of swag it up for a while. And it's a good time for donations if you have any.
Oh, we've got loads. First, before I start reading the donations, I want to remind our viewers, whenever we have a webcam during one of our streams today, unfortunately, there's just going to be a lot of lag between the video and the audio. So it's just an unavoidable consequence of how we set things up for the stream. But we've got Kolthor on webcam, and we're also hearing him, and yeah, it's just not going to sync up. So sorry, everybody. Just keep that in mind, and don't tell us. We already know we can't fix it. I also wanted to point out that, unfortunately, Calco doesn't have mics, so we're going to be hearing Kolthor and our commentators, but not Calco. So one of the two streamers does not have a mic. Okay, with all that said, I can start reading some donations and hopefully keep you mildly entertained while we go through this auto-scroller. We got a $200 donation from Casey241. Thank you, GDQ, for all you do to improve the world around us. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Casey. And yeah, Twitch's or the donation process has been adding these numbers to people's names, and we're never sure if they're supposed to be there or not. So I'm going to go ahead and read them, and if there wasn't supposed to be a number behind your name, you'll know it, and you can just think of yourself being better than our computers. Kawari sent us $20 saying, "What's better than GDQ twice a year? A bonus third marathon. Keep up the great work, guys." Thank you, Kawari, although I wish the circumstances weren't what they are. Tom Woolley sent us $100 saying, "My 10-year-old son and I are watching the classic games I used to play at his age. We live just north of Houston in the Woodlands. This is an awesome way to raise money for the Harvey relief efforts. Thanks to everyone for your help." Well, thank you for your help, Thomas Woolley. That $100 is going to buy 300 meals. We got $100 from Adam Hahn. As a native Houstonian, I am awed by the amount of support we're receiving from around the world. Many thanks to everyone who helped to make this event happen. Well, thank you, Adam Hahn. It's your donations like yours that are the reason why we made it happen.
All right, so ending up this auto-scroller here, one thing to mention is that at the end of this auto-scroller, if you hold right as you're fluttering to get into the goal ring, that actually saves 2 frames. So easy little time save there.
Something worth mentioning, if you saw when Kolthor got hit and he recollected Baby Mario, the game like freezes for a short amount of time. So even if you get hit in an auto scroller, you're still gonna lose time. So you have to be very careful about that.
Being careful.
I know, in an auto scroller.
I know, right?
5-6 is, I don't know, I think it's easy to get hit in 5-6 if you're not careful.
Oh yeah, those Lakitus come out of nowhere, like from underneath. And... Spoiler alert.
So Kolthor just did an extended flutter using that lantern enemy to avoid taking another vine cloud. So that's another significant time save, 3 or 4 seconds.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think are all 3 of the ones that you would have to take, all 3 like fine clouds in Warpless skip. I don't think you have to take any.
Yes. I think the next one is in 2-2.
One 7 is fun. This is, I guess, one of the more iconic levels in the game because of the fuzzies. We'll see if we get to see the fuzzy effect. But it also has those little melon bugs, which are indestructible and super cute. And this like big shadowy tree background, which I love. So Kolthor managed to get through without getting any fuzzies. We'll see about Calco.
I don't know how I didn't get fuzzied there. I was pixels away.
Yeah, fuzzies, every fuzzy that you hit will freeze the game for about 15 frames. So you have that on top of the ground constantly being shifted up and down, which just essentially just creates slopes that will kill your speed completely.
Yeah, you have to be really careful, and it's easy to just, I mean, once you get fuzzied, you usually end up hitting a lot more fuzzies because you don't have control over the ground. So you end up having to run into some.
Has there ever been any work done to see if there's more fuzzies spawn after you get fuzzied? I always feel like there's more when I get fuzzied.
I'm not, I think it just feels like that. We'll see. I don't want to say it hopefully, but yeah, hopefully one of you guys gets fuzzied at some point in the run.
So right here, Kolthor hit the switch in order to get up and get that key from that pot. And then we have Salvo the Slime coming up.
Oh, I just barely got on that ledge. Do you believe in the one cycle, MT?
Please.
I've seen it in person. I definitely believe in it.
Some say it is a myth, some say it is a legend.
Yeah, the way this game's bosses work, because eggs are involved and eggs can be at all these different angles, there's huge opportunities for optimization, and this is one of those bosses where if you're super, super lucky, there's not been a consistent setup for it, you can actually get a one cycle, but most people clear them in 2.
Respectable fight. Didn't get the one cycle though.
Yeah, good fight. That's the best non-one cycle fight you can have, I would. The thing about getting a one cycle fight is that the way that the slimes pop out of him are kind of random. So if you get bad slime placement, it's more
there
difficult.
Also seems
if
to
not
be a little
impossible.
bit of RNG where he takes an extra jump back, and you need that extra jump to get the one cycle. I don't know if it's dependent on like the damage he takes, but sometimes he takes an extra little hop. It's basically pure luck if you get the one cycle. It's like 1% execution, 99% luck.
All right, so going into 2-1 here, we're coming up on another kind of short mini auto-scroller here. But what you'll see Kolthor do here is he will jump and press down on the same frame, and that's called a pipe glitch, and that basically skips the animation where Yoshi goes down the pipe, and that saves about around half a second. And we have time for a donation or 2 during this auto-scroller.
One thing, really quick, if I could just point out. So in addition to skipping the pipe animation, the game reads Yoshi's position and uses that to determine where to send him. So that's why he didn't just go back down the pipe, because Yoshi jumped up high enough to tell the game, okay, send him to the next room instead of back down the pipe.
Okay, I think it's donation time. We got time. Oh, what? No, he's almost done with the level, actually.
You're good. Go ahead.
All right. Okay, well, I got one I want to read. Laura G sent us $50 and said, when I heard that GDQ was doing a charity stream for Harvey, I couldn't contain my excitement. A Yoshi's Island race? But then I am also deeply saddened at the reasoning for this event. Every little bit helps, and it's amazing what you guys have done. Thank you for your efforts and kindness. No more crying babies. I'm looking at you, baby Mario. And we got $50 from Anonymous just saying, let's make this Mario Kart run happen. I hope we do make it happen. We're pretty close.
All right, so coming into 2-2 here, 2-2 is the most difficult level up to this point. There are a lot of really small time saves that are moderately difficult. You see here, Kolthor is going to get hit intentionally and grab this Toady enemy, and he will use this to skip the Baby Mario section. Right now, he got in an extended flutter off of that Pipe Shy guy in order to skip that Vine Cloud that we were mentioning earlier, and then right here, he is going to spit this Toady and use an extended flare from that to get over this pole, and that skips a Baby Mario section, which is pretty slow.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this level. I think it's pretty difficult if you want to do it as fast as possible. That little Toady grab at the beginning is, I think, one of the most fun, like, little tiny tricks of the game. But there's a lot of slopes here at the end, and you have to be, like, pretty precise if you want to do this level perfectly.
Yeah, this is one of the first levels where you have a lot of direction changing, and what you'll see them doing is they will tongue a wall when they're turning around, and the reasoning for that is when you tongue a wall, Yoshi's movement will drop to 0 instantly, so it's just a faster way to turn around. And then right here at the end, they just have to deal with a few piranhas, so they'll go ahead and shoot eggs at both of those, and that's it. Oh, and so sometimes they will collect flowers, but as far as bonuses go, in Warpless, it's not really... Getting a bonus game is not really a concern, because as long as you are moving full speed as the goal ring spawns, you'll basically always see it land on, like, the very bottom left tick, or maybe the bottom tick if they have a speed slightly higher than normal from jumping off of the slope.
Unfortunately, just in case, we do have the 100% backup strat to avoid a bonus if the odd sensation happens where we accidentally get 3 flowers.
Absolutely, but I trust both runners to not have to rely on that. So 2-3 introduces some foam. Foam is kind of weird, and it's also a bit laggy. There will be more foam stuff later on. And with Baby Mario, Baby Mario is the one point in the game where you need to hold Y in order to run as fast as possible. Normally, Yoshi will always run maximum speed without holding any buttons, but Baby Mario requires you to hold down Y. So coming up here in 2-4, you will see the first instance of what we call a gate hack. Normally there are one-way gates, and you normally cannot enter them from the unintended side. But what we do is if you hold up while you're shooting an egg, Yoshi will actually turn around, and if you kind of run into the gate and do that, the egg actually shoots from inside the gate, and it will open the gate that way.
Yeah, eggs are like a very powerful tool in this game. You can use them to open gates, use them to break star clouds. I think it's always fun to, like, if I'm watching like someone who's never played this game before and is just playing it casually, I always like tell, like, I don't know, my mom or whoever who I get to play this game, like, if you're stuck, just use your tongue, use eggs or ground pound. But it's funny just because it's such like a kind of untraditional platforming mechanic. A lot of people, I think, struggle to get comfy with it at first.
Yeah, absolutely. Yoshi himself is like very, very powerful, but if he gets hit, he has to, retrieve the baby, which is a little different than the way most platformers work.
This game is so unique for its time and so ahead of its time. We still have yet to really see a platformer even remotely close to it. Even the sequels to Yoshi just don't compare.
So this boo boss here, you just fire 5 eggs at the wall. Pretty simple.
Yeah, one of the few things that makes a difference in this fight is if you make your angle too shallow and it bounces off the wall and then off the floor, when it hits the ghost, it'll spawn 2 stars. And if you do that multiple times, then it can definitely lag a little bit at the end. It doesn't matter a ton, but ideally you just want to shoot it straight. And same with Bert, because like with the first boss in the game and this boss, you can hit him frame perfectly. The timing isn't tight, but it's possible to have actually like a perfect fight.
Yeah, there are a lot of ways to cause significant lag in this game. So basically you will see them always trying to avoid making stars. And there are certain screens where they will like intentionally have 0 eggs or only 1 egg, and that's basically just to reduce lag. And 2-5, it's one of my favorite levels personally. It's very, very just avoiding obstacles, shooting foam, very execution heavy level where you really just have to try and maintain your speed the entire time.
It's definitely my favorite level. Just short and sweet and tech heavy. I love it.
So coming into 2-6, you'll see there is a lot of foam in the section, and ground pounding through all this foam does cause some lag. And then after that, you're going to see them try and do it. Okay, well, looks like neither of them got it, but you can easily clear that foam with an upshot in order to get that bouncy arrow down.
Not getting full height on the bouncy ball.
And then the rest of this level is straightforward, so if you have a donation, feel free.
I've always got donations.
Thank
That's
God
what I
for
like to
that.
hear.
We got $10 from 81 Rambler saying, "It's great to see the community come together so quickly to help those in need. Can we hear Colthor say, 'For the future of Houston and marathons, you have to stay determined'?"
For the future of Houston and marathons, you have to stay determined.
Thank you, Colthor.
All right, so going into 2-7, there is one very important thing to talk about. You will see them make an egg from this fat shy guy here, and this creates a kind of unique egg type, this big egg. And what happens is when you throw the egg and it hits the ground, it will turn all the sprites on screen into stars. So this is used in order to prevent one or both of those bullet bill launchers from spawning. Looks like Colthor got it. And then in this falling rock area, you will see them kind of do a left-right here in order to try and get underneath one of those falling blocks. If they don't manipulate the camera correctly, they will just have to wait for that one falling block before they can keep going.
Yeah, and if you look on Calco's stream, he didn't get the despawn, so that's that space that Colthor just ran through. In theory, you can despawn both of those, so you can just go straight through it.
And then what Calco just did there is he skipped that intentional car transformation. Basically, ideally, you will skip every single transformation just because you have like a transformation animation and it's very, very slow. So we want to skip those whenever possible. I think the only one that they will use in this is the helicopter in 6.8 and maybe the helicopter in 5.5.
I'll skip the helicopter if Calco does. Hear that, Calco? It's a deal, buddy. Helicopter skip?
I hope so.
I hate helicopter skip, by the way.
So this is kind of the first little section where you need to do sustained fluttering in order to get over a lava pit, because riding platforms in this game is very, very slow. And then you just saw Calco did another one of those pipe glitches in order to transition to the next screen. Kiwi mentioned it earlier. It's just because the transitions are based on like square grids, and when you do a pipe glitch, you jump, so you end up outside of that grid and in the grid above, so it just warps you to the other pipe's location.
And Coulthor, I think, got a frame perfect jump there on that platform, which allowed him to jump over the goal ring.
And right now they are just grabbing a key that is required in order to progress. And then this level introduces these like spike logs, and you have to hit that kind of question mark circle twice in order for it to raise up enough for Yoshi to get under. So basically, you'll see them trying to shoot that as soon as possible, like as soon as it spawns. The one Calco just went through, it's raised up one level higher than normal, so you can actually, it's a one frame jump to jump at the latest possible frame before you fall off, and you don't have to shoot it at all. Dealing with this arrow block here, it is possible to jump on it at the right time to where you don't have to do any sort of readjustment.
2.8, and I think, can be a really annoying level.
Yeah, 2.8 is pretty long. It looks like Coulthor got a good angle on that arrow block. All right,
and
so
you got a one-shot.
Yeah, this boss coming up is Roger, and all that you have to do is push him to the right. What you will see Calco do here is he will start pushing immediately, and then he will run to the left right before he spits the second flame in order to sort of just manipulate his pattern here.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird boss. It's fairly trivial, but if you mess it up, oh my god. Kind of something scary.
I see a lot of people casually get stuck on him because they just don't know what to initially do.
And this is the end of World 2, so there is time for a donation or two.
Well, I've got a donation or two to read. We got $25 from Alex Warnavy saying, "Hi guys, I know it's not a lot, but as a kid, I spent the weekend doing odd jobs to save up for a donation. Hope it helps." And that's so sweet, and absolutely it helps. Thank you so much, Axel. That's 75 meals for people in Houston. Can I keep reading? We still have time?
Sure, one more is good.
One more is good. Leo67 gave us $10 and said, "I wasn't aware this was GDQ until this weekend. Thank you for the staff, volunteers, and runners who came together to get this done quick. I'm so glad to see Yoshi's Island again at GDQ. Good luck to the runners." Thank you, Leo. It didn't happen until this weekend.
All right, so World 3 introduces, among other things, monkeys and mud. Do you kind of want to talk about the monkeys, Kolthor?
My pure, utter, bitter hatred of the monkeys?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Well, the monkeys have somewhat random jump patterns, and you don't see this in the first level, but the later levels, the monkeys can actually grab Mario off of your back, and they just love to run in the other direction and troll you hard. Oh, those monkeys. They also see them in the vines. They can throw spikes. They can throw bombs. They have watermelons. They'll be spitting seeds at you. They're just everywhere.
Yeah, when the monkeys choose to spit the watermelon seeds, that is actually one thing that can create significant amounts of lag. If you've ever played this game and you've played the level 3E, that is a stage with a lot of monkeys with watermelons, and you will get significant lag if more than one of them chooses to spit seeds at a time. So coming into 3-2 here, what you will see Calco do is, it's basically you go right and then there is this little climbing section. And what he's going to do is he's going to kind of scroll the screen up in order to manipulate this platform's spawning time so that he can get on it as soon as possible without having to wait.
Yeah, unlike the stationary terrain, all those moving platforms are sprites, so they spawn based on the camera, which I think can cause frustration for casual players if they get like stuck and they miss a platform. They have to go off screen to get it back.
And then coming up now is 3-3. And I actually forgot about this one, but this one does have another helicopter transformation that you have to take.
Well, not anymore.
Yes, not anymore. The world record holder just found this today. It's kind of an interesting thing. If you run off a ledge and press down, like at the same frame as you fall off the ledge, Yoshi will be in sort of a ducking animation as he's falling. And with that, since he's ducking, his height is significantly reduced, so you can actually fit into that little narrow section that before basically forced you to get the helicopter. But it's a very, very hard trick.
Yeah, shout outs to Port. That like this strat's actually crazy. And he's
insane.
done a lot to push the game in 2017. So many
tons of small optimizations that really add up. Okay, so coming into the famous subsection here. This is another area that can cause significant amounts of lag if you have too many eggs. So you'll see they want to come in with basically 4 or less eggs, because these missiles cause a lot of lag, and the missiles also travel. They travel in like arcs instead of straight, so they're kind of unpredictable at times. If you shoot a missile at the wrong time, sometimes it will just choose to kind of like make almost a complete circle around the enemy before it hits them. So hopefully, looks like Calco got through without any problems, but we'll see how Kolthor does. And 3-3 also introduces the frog enemy, and that's sort of the anti-Yoshi enemy. It has a tongue attack, which can grab Baby Mario, and when it grabs Baby Mario, he will just kind of run off whichever direction he wants to.
I went for the rolling spike skip. Didn't quite get it.
And also, you saw Calco aiming an egg as he's walking down the stairs. That is slightly faster than going down the stairs without aiming an egg.
It also, I think, helps because Yoshi jerks a little bit when he hits the wall, so that's like a nice visual cue to just turn around. Otherwise, it's kind of, if you turn around like a second before you get to the bottom of a set of stairs, then you go back up the stairs, so that can be frustrating.
So coming into 3-4 here, what they're going to be doing is just making their way to the boss. There are a lot of like side routes here for the for a lot of flowers and red coins, but they're just going to avoid all of this. So we have this little mini sort of the mini lava skip section, which is just a bunch of flutters to avoid swimming in the water. Fluttering is actually only about a second faster than swimming the entire time, so it's just one of those very, very small time saves. And I believe we probably have time for a donation or two.
Well, I've got plenty of donations to read. Brother Android sent us $100 saying, thanks for putting this together. Loved it all, Houstonites from Austin, Texas. Well, thank you, Brother Android. We got $250 from Anonymous with no message. Thank you very much. That's 750 meals for the people of Houston. I just wish you'd had something to say. Legendary Tetanol sent us $25 and said, Yoshi's Island is my all-time favorite game, and you guys are destroying it. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you, Legendary Tetanol. I think there are some people on stream who agree with you.
Alright, so this is the Prince Froggy fight, and this is kind of where the game changes track. Normally Kamek comes in and sprinkles some magic, and then the enemies increase in size. And this one, it's kind of applied to Yoshi instead, and he gets smaller, which is just sort of an interesting reversal. But the way that this fight works is the damage is not based on hits. It's this uvula has an actual like HP value, and the way to maximize damage is to shoot an egg at kind of like a 45-degree angle. So that's why you see them moving off to the side. Calco having a little trouble. And you can kind of tell how much damage is done based on how fast the uvula is moving left to right. But decent fight back, Calco. And the best case scenario is 5 eggs.
Shoutouts to Raiden the Quick, who is working on the disassembly for this game and figured out the obscenely complex formula for how to actually beat that boss the fastest.
So coming up on Calco's screen here, you see the first screen of 3.5. Personally, this is maybe my least favorite screen of the game. There's monkeys, there's foam, there's these potted spike plants, there's gusties. It's just awful. But good job by Calco.
Yeah, foam is weird. It's not random, but it's like the smallest adjustment in your egg angle results in it pushing the egg through the foam in a different way. So sometimes you wind up only clearing yourself like a one-tile path that Yoshi can't fit through. So any section where you have to travel through foam can be really tricky.
And then Calco just has to get rid of the Shy Guy enemy. And that's 3-5. Pretty straightforward stage, but yeah, the first screen gives people a lot of trouble, even experienced people. So coming up in 3-6, on the second screen, you have 2 possible route choices. You can take the top route or the bottom route. The bottom route is a bit more difficult, and it only saves about a second or 2. The bottom route has hedgehogs and rats. So we'll see what Calco does here. He's going to grab that mouser. He's going to upspit it on... Oh, wrong way. He's going to upspit it on the mushroom to avoid a stair cloud. And then he's going to just flutter over this mole transformation. So that is the top route. Kolthor, do you take the top or the bottom?
I've been learning the bottom, but it'd be pretty risky if I go for it. It's still in process.
Yeah,
I'll probably go top.
The bottom route is it's much harder because you have to like grab a mouser, spit it against the wall, and then have it jump afterwards so that you can extend flutter upwards. The top route is way less complicated.
Coulter doing a little bit of manipulation to make the mouser run to the direction that he wants, and also to avoid. If you run straight at
Well, it
the.
looks like we're doing both routes.
So you just saw the bottom route by Coulter, sort of an impromptu change, but you see how he had to grab a mouser and then spit it and then get an extended flutter off of it. The first screen of 3-7 here on Calco's screen is kind of annoying. Those fish that jump out of the water, they kind of jump randomly, so it's kind of a headache, and they have to sort of just react to what happens. And then you saw Calco spit a monkey at that crab in order to clear it out of the way. Spitting monkeys at the crab, sometimes I guess it just hits them multiple times and just destroys it completely, but sometimes it will just stun it. Both are fine, but you kind of just have to pay attention and react to what happens.
The monkey does damage on every frame, so if it doesn't, I don't know, bounce off of like the very edge of the crab, then yeah, we'll just do 3 hits really quick. What I think is cool about the crabs is that only their claws actually hurt you, or like if you run into them through the side, so they're an enemy, but you can also use them as a platform.
So 3-8 has some tricky stuff. It kind of introduces these like sewer ghosts, I guess is what they're called. You have to egg them, X amount of times before you can get through. So right away you'll see Calco come in and he will egg this thing 4 times in order to get through. And then after that, there are these kind of piranha fish, and that's why you saw Calco do a left-right there in order to get through that without getting hit. There's a common soft lock in this game where if you egg that enemy and get hit by it on the same frame, you will soft lock the game. So that's why they kind of just try and avoid egging that enemy completely.
Yeah, using the tongue to slow down, I think there's only a couple places you do it, but it's just when you stick Yoshi's tongue out and you're on the ground, same as like if you try to eat an enemy, it just slows you down. So you actually use that to your advantage.
So what you saw Calco do there with that other ghost is he shot an egg to hit it just as it was spawning on screen, because it spawns small and then grows. So what he's doing there is just hitting it with an egg as soon as it spawns. And then one more thing, those green piranha enemies, when you shoot one of them with an egg, it cannot damage you for about 30 frames. So when you hit one of those green piranhas, you have about 30 frames to pass through it without getting hit.
Oh man, and if you saw Calco's first egg that he tried to shoot died on the platform, somehow it collided with the platform 3 times, even though it should have gone through it. That's why he stopped to get a second egg before he went into that room.
Yeah, and this is the one kind of intended Easter egg boss skip in this game is if you shoot the piranha before you reach the trigger to start the cutscene, it just explodes right away. The famous oh my. And time for another couple donations.
Sure thing. We've got one donation from Desert Sun, $25, saying, "Everyone affected by this disaster has my deepest condolences. You are in the thoughts of countless others as well. The gaming community has your back. Donation goes to Announcer's Choice." And my choice, and here's my segue, is there's a donation incentive to add Mario Kart 64 to the stream. That's a bonus game incentive. It's currently sitting at $22,524.26. out of $25,000. So we're only about, $2,500 away? I'm really hoping we can meet that, because I'll get to host that too if it happens. I'm going to keep going, though. I think we've got time for another donation or two, right?
Yeah, one more.
One more. $25 from Budai saying, "I was trying to decide where to send money to help with Harvey relief, and you guys made the choice easy. Thanks for all your great work, and thanks to all the runners. Let's make Mario Kart 64 happen." I hope it does.
So you just saw Calco go through this fuzzy section here, and this is a very dangerous screen because if you do hit a fuzzy and it causes the platforms to kind of warp and turn into slopes, it's actually possible to clip through those platforms, which does end a lot of runs in this game.
Yeah, this is one of the most terrifying rooms in the game because there's not that much you can do to try to save yourself. These guys they both did pretty good.
Oh, Coulthor just got fuzzied, but he managed to get through it without any problems. And then after that, the Baby Mario section is just pretty straightforward.
I love the autumn trees background that's only used at the start of 4.2.
Yeah, there are a lot of things in this game that are only used in like one screen or like one level. There's just so many assets.
You're also going to see with the start of World 4, pretty much from here and beyond, is a significant increase in difficulty. Everything just kind of spikes a little bit after World 3. World 3, 1 through 3 is fairly easy for casual play, but once you get to 4, it jumps quite a bit.
Okay, so coming up on 4.3 here, this is sort of, I think, the level that introduces the slowly rising balloons, which is the way that the game wants you to climb up. There is a faster way that we might see Calco do. You can grab a Koopa and you can upspit the shell off of a wall and bounce on it that way. We'll see if he does that or not.
This is I think it's a really fun level. It's got some good, like, more vertical platforming. It's just pretty fast-paced in general.
Yeah, once you get through that initial vertical section, it becomes a lot more just gaining speed.
No, Baxter, why?
Yeah, so from time to time, you might see the runners right before they enter the goal ring. They might shoot an egg and then try and re-grab it right before they hit the goal ring, and that's in order just to have the next Yoshi pick up the egg, and that's called a Baxter. So at the end of the screen here, Calco is going to just take the lag frames, I guess. With those 1-up balloons, those cause a significant amount of lag, and along with having the foam there and Yoshi having eggs and all that other stuff.
And yeah, you can see again in 4.3, Coulthor just hits the piranha and runs straight through it. I don't know exactly how long it is, but there's just like a nice little window where it doesn't have a hitbox.
Yeah, it's about half a second. So Calco is entering 4.4 here. 4.4, I believe, is the longest level that does not have an auto-scroller, so this is a very difficult level. You need 4 keys in order to get to the boss room, so there's kind of like 4 different rooms that the runners have to go into and collect the key in each room. And the order that they do that is just kind of based on how many eggs that they need for each room. So you're going to see them do top right, top left, bottom left.
There's a really hard trick in this level that Coulthor is a big advocate for. I'm going to see if he goes for it.
Well, I kind of have to now, don't I?
Oh, no.
The call out. Yeah, it's kind of similar to the 1-2 skip thing, where you spit an enemy into a wall and there's one frame where you can bounce off of it and get an extended flutter. This screen here is famously very, very laggy. It's very easy to make stars, and you have bullet bills flying around and bandits and everything else.
Yeah, I think it's a really hard screen to do perfectly. There's so many little things that can go wrong, from getting like clipped by a sniffet bullet to if you're really going too fast, maybe die on the spikes, although hopefully that doesn't.
So what you saw Calco do there was try to upspit an enemy and then get an extended flutter off of it in order to skip this this very slow moving blue arrow lift.
Something trolley happened to Cole Thor. He was trying to tongue Baby Mario, but ended up tonguing a star, so he can't get back Baby Mario, and he got snatched by a bandit.
Yeah, that's a very, very common thing, is stars being in very close proximity with a bandit, is you will just tongue the star instead of tonguing the bandit, because if you tongue the bandit, you have like a very short window to where he is unable to grab Baby Mario. And you see Kolthor doing that that extended flutter off of the snippet to skip that arrow platform.
All right, let's see what happens. Do we love the bucket or do we hate it?
No, please, no. Don't do
Do we
it.
love the bucket or do we hate the bucket?
So as you can see on Calco's screen, he shot a bucket there in order to
Oh, we love the bucket!
get over the lift, and Kolthor
Oh my god.
just did a bucket skip, which is one of the swaggiest of the game. You have like a 2-frame window to reflutter and make it up on top of that ledge without falling in the lava. So excellent job.
Whew. It's all worth it now. It's all worth it. The rest of this run could rip. We got bucket skip. We're good.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. That's so scary.
Yeah, and you saw Kolthor do that bottom left room before the top left room just because of doing bucket skip, because the savoring is right there in the middle, and it's very, very hard to avoid. All right,
I think
so
this boss is really cool.
I detest this boss. The hitbox is really weird. Sometimes if you try and ground pound too low, you will get hit during the ground pound animation. But looks like he's... Okay, so what he went there is called the triple. It's you shoot an egg off the wall and it hits the one milled, and then ideally you can ground pound 3 at one time.
Yeah,
But
this is one of those
still a good
bosses.
fight.
Yeah, this fight can go anywhere from really, really, really fast to really slow if you're doing it casually. And a lot of that is just because they made the boss so springy. If you shoot it with an egg, it goes flying. And so there's a lot of different ways it can go. And if they just made the egg bounce off or done something more boring, this boss would be a lot more boring.
And
Kolthor
Kolthor with the triple. Nice.
Yeah, 4-4 is a hard level to do perfectly and to get all those hard tricks.
Very hard. So what you'll see here, Calco is spitting out a shell just to clear out all of these enemies so he doesn't have to really deal with any slopes, and then he's going to use this Koopa to extend a flutter over this other pole, and he has one of those poly enemies in his mouth. He's going to spit it off that post, which will give him a very, very small boost. And then there are multiple ways to deal with this little ending segment here. Let's see what he does. Okay, so that's like the simplest way. You just bounce off the Koopa and extend a flutter up. You can also upspit a shell off of the wall to get in that sort of lower entry point without fluttering at all.
Let's see if I can get it. I'll go for the shell.
Four 6, I think, is also another pretty hard level.
So you saw what he was going for there. Luckily, he could just bounce off a Shy Guy and get an extended flutter. Going into 4-6 here, 4-6 has a lot of these sort of jumping fish, and their jumping time is random. So there are probably about 3 or 4 places where choosing the jump can get you hit if you're not able to react in time. Yeah, you'll see how Calco kind of did a left-right there. This is the big one coming up on the left side here. This fish.
Oh, you jerk.
He was nice. Yeah, so what Calco was trying to do was he was trying to egg one Shy Guy and have it roll over and hit the crab, and then tongue a Shy Guy and spit it out. But the Shy Guys ended up hitting each other and destroying, so he just had to egg it 3 times.
Yeah, that's there's a lot that can go wrong in that room, and it's I think it's pretty difficult to get it absolutely perfectly. There's like that foam shot at the end, which can also go wrong. Coulter usually does pretty good there.
Yeah, we'll see how Kothor does here. And really a big thing about saving time in this game is not getting hit. You know, like if you have to slow down a little to make sure that you know, say the crab is destroyed, that's a lot better than getting hit and losing like 2 seconds. So coming up on 4-7 here, you'll see Calco grab one of these chickens, as we call them, and he is going to attempt what's called a chicken Baxter. Usually when you jump in a goal ring, it will destroy your the sort of unique egg items, you know, the chickens, the big eggs, keys. But if you have the sprite IDs set up in a certain order, and you start aiming the chicken and cancel it right as the frame that you enter the goal ring, you will actually keep it. So we'll see if he can get it here. He's throwing the egg here just for sprite ID stuff, and then he's going to try and cancel. And he got it. Excellent.
Nice.
Wow.
That's very, very hard.
1 frame. Awesome. Good. I thought somebody got it. Let's see if I get it.
I really like 4-7. I love like the golden grass palette. World 4, I think the art is really, really pretty, and each level there's like I want to say like 4 different background colors just for the grass alone.
Absolutely. So in 4-8 here, you will see Calco. Oh, did he lose? I think he might have lost the egg.
No!
But, you'll see him egg these blocks in order to clear them out without having to slow down, and then he touches that shell, because when you touch a shell, Yoshi is invincible for probably about half a second. So he uses that to get underneath that spike block without getting hit. And he does still have the chicken. There's some excellent graphics right now.
And something he did, he hit the star cloud, which is like it uses the Super FX chip. And for some reason, if you hit it and it's in the right part of the animation, when you run through that save ring, it doesn't freeze Yoshi like normal.
Yeah, so that's just another little time save because that save ring isn't avoidable. But one thing about that is it doesn't actually save until the timer finishes counting up. So if you enter the door before the numbers finish counting up, it does not actually save.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
And then coming up to Hookbill here, this is the entire reason for bringing the chicken. Normally you have to hit Hookbill with 4 eggs before he flips over on his back and you're able to ground pound him. But with the chicken, it just constantly hit him. So you'll see this coming up. It's pretty cool.
I'm so glad somebody got the chicken.
Yeah, so it's very, very fast, and you need to ground pound Hookbill 3 times. So that's a significant time save.
It's about 10 seconds. I think we figured it out.
And oh, no blast off.
Oh,
That's fine. That's fine. I'm sure Colthor will get it. But we have some time for some donations.
Well, we've got donations to read. The man with the hex sent us $100 and said, I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you. And I saw Airplane too. Zucchini 153 sent us $100 saying, nobody likes water levels. Hang in there, Houston. I'm with you there. Potato Hedron sent us $50 and said, runners, donors, organizers, you're all amazing for putting this event together and raising so much money in such short notice. Here's $50 towards seeing that bonus Kart 64 run. I'm with you there, Potato Hedron. We got $20 from Kara saying, good luck, Alex. I hope someone here is named Alex. Anonymous sent us $10 and said, hey, my buddy Andrew is a nurse at Houston Methodist. He was stuck at work when the hurricane hit. Shout out to him and all the other hospital, EMS, police, and fire workers in Houston. Thanks to the organizers for putting this together. Since we're responding to a disaster caused in part by climate change, it makes me happy to see players streaming from home. Save the frames and save the fuel.
All right, so here in 5.1, World 5 is a pretty difficult world. It's very easy just to get like comboed, you know, like get hit by one enemy and that hits you into another enemy. You'll see this at the end of 5.1 here. That's one of the screens where it's very easy to lose a lot of time just by getting hit one time. And it also introduces the penguin enemies, bumpties, which are incredibly annoying, as you'll probably see. But good job by Calco getting through that screen without any problems.
Yeah, that's one of the kind of places where if you get hit once, it's just like this awful chain reaction. And that's, I think, kind of how they designed the game to be. Like, getting hit won't necessarily kill you, but if you panic and don't calmly get back Baby Mario, then something else will kill you.
So going into 5.2 here, the intended thing to do is push this snowball, or swag ball as we like to call it. But if you can get to the end here, you can do an extended flutter, or a perfect flutter, which is you have a very small window after doing one flutter to let go and repress jump, and you can actually gain a small amount of height there. So there are a lot of places in this game where there's a ledge that's barely out of your reach, and doing that perfect flutter allows you to reach some places that you normally couldn't. And then going into the end of 5.2 here, you will see Calco just fall down, and he will use these bumpties to get up to the goal ring instead of riding the very, very slow platform.
Yep, so pretty clean level. 5.2 is fairly trivial compared to a lot of the other levels in this world, but I think it's still kind of fun. There's just not that much that you can do to make it faster.
So we're coming up to 5.3 here. This is probably the second hardest level in World 5. There are multiple places where it's very easy to die. You have to be very careful in reacting to the bumpties, because they can just knock you off of an ice block into a pit.
Yeah, and there's an egg shot where you have to shoot out 2 spikes, and if you go at full speed and don't take them both out, it can be pretty easy to die, and that would cause a big change in this race. Although next up we have 5-4, so who knows what.
5-3 is always a notorious difficult level, especially for beginner runners of this category in this game. There's just trying to go fast on it. Like you guys said before, there's so many places to die, and it's so precise.
So you'll see Calco coming up to this spike shot here. Nice job. He did a little safety duck, but that's just for safety's sake. It doesn't lose that much time.
Yeah, and the thing about that, if you miss the second spike, you really hope that bumpty bumps you, because it's possible you duck and slide, and you're literally stuck, and you just have to stand up and take the spike. So even the safety strat is kind of risky.
And then this ski section here, there's not a lot you can do to speed it up, but there are some minor optimizations, just jumping at certain times in order to avoid slopes.
I love the little tiny bird sprite in World 5.
The ones in the background?
Yeah.
I think we have time for a donation before 5-4.
Okie doke. Well, we got late for lunch, giving us $10, saying, so amazed at how well this event came together in such a small amount of time. Donating because of the good cause and because DS Dad. Oh? Okay, thank you.
Alright, so coming into 5-4, this is sort of the hardest skip in the game, I guess you would say. It's not just like one frame perfect input, it's a lot of continuous perfect or almost perfect flutters. You just want to you have to maintain your height for, what is it, like 30 something flutters?
Yeah, something like that. A lot of flutters.
Because normally there is a ghost platform that you ride, so it's sort of like a pseudo auto scroller, but it is skippable. So you'll see that coming up very soon on Calco's screen. Just using that Shy Guy in order to minimize the fluttering. Fluttering, as I said, it's very, very safe, but it's also very, very slow. And in this 5-4 skip coming up, it saves about 1minute and 15 seconds over riding the ghost platform. So in terms of like world record level play, you have to do this. So I'll just go ahead and give Calco a bit of quiet here. And awesome
Nice.
job, awesome job. That is extremely difficult.
Oh.
Oh my
And
god.
excellent job by Coulter as well. He was very close to those spikes. I got pretty scared by that.
Yeah, me too.
Some smart improv that Coulter did there is one of those bats was off screen, and if you saw, Calco took the last bat to get that flutter, whereas Coulter went for the one off screen, even though it was ahead, and he would have to do an extra flutter so that he could at least still see the bat that he has to bounce on.
And so then after that we have the sluggy fight, and if you shoot an egg at the right time, sort of manipulating the camera, it's sort of the same thing with the ghosts in 3.8. It starts small and then expands as it spawns on screen. So you'll see Coulter just trying to hit the boss as soon as he comes on screen.
Yeah, basically the body despawns, the egg gets past the edge, and then it spawns and it hits the heart.
So we see Calco, excuse me, we see Calco skipping the helicopter transformation here. This saves about a second or a second and a half. So it's nothing big, but it is faster.
All right, I said it. If he does it, I do it.
And 5.5 is one of those levels. It's not terribly difficult, but there are a lot of slopes, so it's very easy to lose speed. And once you lose speed, it becomes very easy to get hit. And we'll see if Coulter can get.
I actually grabbed the.
You got the transformation.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's better than dying.
Yeah, if I can figure out where to not get hit by Goody Birds.
And now Calco is in 5.6, which is pretty long auto scroller. So unless there's anything that you want to talk about, we have some donation time.
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is we're only $200 away from Mario Kart 64. I'm hoping that's going to happen pretty quick here. I'm looking forward to hosting that. So I imagine that's going to happen in the next couple minutes, but keep it up, guys. And we do have a $1,000 donation from Neo Conzel saying, donating to a good cause. Thanks to all GDQ and fellow donators. Well, thank you very much, Neo Conzel. That's fantastic. Skoogs gave us $500 and said, nothing melts my cold heart faster than the warmth shown by the GDQ community. Your efforts have motivated me to help in a small way. Great job to those involved. Blaine Cohen gave us $50 and said, it'll take a lot more than a Category 4 hurricane and 50 inches of rain to take Town H down. Huge thanks to all the donations and overwhelming community support from people everywhere. And you know the Bayou Boys will continue to do it big. Shoutouts to my LLC besties. Someone named Woo gave us $100, and their donation comment was, Woo. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Prentice gave us $25 and said, it was such an awesome surprise to see GDQ is doing this mini marathon. And the fact that everyone came together to put on this event to raise funds for Hurricane Harvey gets me all warm and fuzzy. Also loving the Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island race. Thanks to everybody who made this happen, and thanks to all those who also donated. Anonymous gave us $50 and said, I'm happy to see so much support for Houston. My family got 31 inches of water in our house, but we were fortunate enough to find a place to stay and recover. Although I'm not in the best position to donate, I know there are people who need this more than me. Keep it up! That's fantastic, Anonymous, and it's amazing to hear that you got 31 inches of water in your house. Oh, I can't imagine what that's like. We got $100 from W. Morgan with no donation comment, but thank you very much, W. Morgan. We got $100 also from the Maxwells saying, so hopefully we could help Texas in their time of need. You guys do great work. Keep it up. Garrison gave us $100 and just said GDQ owns. And you're gosh darn tootin' right, Garrison. Binge sent us $50 and said, this is probably the best game ever made. And I'm sure I agree, Binge. I think everyone here on the stream agrees.
I second the nomination.
I thought you might. Mario Kart's passed. We're going to get Mario Kart 64 bonus run. I think that happens right after this run. So thank you, everybody. We still have time for more donations. I can keep going.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Miss K gave us $20 and said, thanks for organizing this. Sending hugs and hope from ATX. Is that an airport code? I'm not sure where ATX is. Jesus HC sent us $200 and said, missed out on SGDQ. Glad to pick up my slack with a donation for a Texas-themed Final Fantasy IV run. Zeromus stands no chance against Houston and Corpus. Blue Hell gave us $50 and said, thinking about everyone involved in Harvey. And that's $50 from Blue Hell. Thanks you very much. Pickled Herring gave us $50 and said, thanks to GDQ for all you do to bring joy and relief to those in need.
All right, so coming in the 5-7, this is also a pretty difficult level. With these falling blocks, there is one frame right where it starts to fall, where Yoshi will actually be in the air, so you cannot jump on that frame. So it's very common for people to jump on those falling blocks, try and jump, but their input basically just gets eaten and then they just fall.
Yeah. This I was just gonna say, this is like it's a fairly easy stage, but there's a lot that can kill you if you're not careful.
Yeah, this is the most dangerous strat coming up here. You do a piranha damage whatever thing here, but you have to face to the left in order to have the piranha spit its projectile so that it moves to the right and doesn't hit you. But it's kind of a tight window.
Calco did a safety flutter before egging it, which I actually think is scarier than just falling into it.
Yeah, same. I think you can actually just go against the wall, tap left, and you can actually land on the ledge and get hit by the piranha. But since you're facing left, Baby Mario goes to the right, and you can just run through the piranha and re-grab Baby Mario that way. So it's not quite as scary as it seems, but if you panic, you're basically guaranteed to fall in the pit.
Something that happened a little earlier, and I didn't want to say anything because it was 5-4 skip. I saw a wife of Barbarian in the chat who said, "Coldform makes my heart flutter," and I thought that was really cute.
Yeah, that's actual waifu. Shout out to the missus.
That's beautiful.
Barbarian might be tough, but there's none tougher Mrs. Barbarian, trust me.
It's probably that. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's probably the voice that does it, Coulthar.
I don't know how she puts up with me. God bless her.
So right here, you will see Calco grab this arrow lift and jump up these ledges and upspit it in order to just basically start this slow-moving up as possible, and then get the extended flutter from the small raven. And then coming up here, we have just a vertical climbing section. There are a lot of Goonies and Fat Goonies here, so it's kind of tight platforming to get through without getting hit, but nice job by Calco. And
yeah, it's
now,
hard to...
Go ahead.
Oh, no. Brav is probably more important. I'm just saying it's hard to time the spawning of things when you're going up instead of sideways.
Absolutely. And now we have, in a speedrunning sense, everybody's least favorite boss. This is the most random boss in the game, I believe. And the reasoning for that is initially he can either run to the left or run to the right. You want him to go left, but he can go right, and he can also go right and stop before he is in a position to be ground pounded. So Calco had great luck there. He ran left, so he was able to ground pound him immediately. And very good boss pattern. Very good.
I'll try to make him go right and stop for you guys, just so you see what it looks like.
And I think we have time for a donation or two during this cutscene.
Okay, before I read donations, I just want to mention I got the order wrong. It's going to be Beautiful Joe next, and then the Mario Kart race will be after that. So, we got an anonymous $500 donation from, anonymous, saying for Spaz, Vic, and HTF. Thanks very much for that $500. Wild Eep sent us $50 and said, let's get some Mario Kart 64. I'm glad to announce that, yes, we're going to do it, Wild Eep. Crispy216 sent us $5 and said, I love this community. Harvey has affected some of my family in Houston. They were lucky enough to not have too much damage. This also affected one of our own Yoshis as well, Heartstick Grotus. Great to see Yoshi buy 2 of the best. I agree. Not a Hooker sent us $25 saying, I've been through a major natural disaster and I know how much they suck. I'm too far away to help in person, so this little bit is all I can do. That's still 75 meals for the people of Houston, not a Hooker.
All right, so coming into the last world, World 6 here, you'll see Calco upspit that Shy Guy in order to clear out some of those Spear guys. Normally, even if you try and egg them, the egg will die after only hitting one of them. But if you upspit the Shy Guy, it will just plow its way through everything until it stops moving. So great first screen.
Yeah, I think this is a lot of Warpless runners' favorite or in their top amount of levels. There's a lot of hard strats, a lot of really fast movement, and if you want to avoid like slopes the whole way, that even adds more difficulty. So it's one of those levels you can play a lot and it doesn't really get boring.
So you'll see Calco grab that toady before and did an upspit in order to just to gain enough height to get up on top of that ledge without having just to take the platforms. Lots of small optimizations in this level. And then the end right here is kind of scary. He's going to try and grab this toady and spit it at the piranha, and then he will grab one of these goonies and bounce off the other one to get enough distance to get to the goal ring. Good 6-1. Also, one thing to mention about jumping in this game, normally if you just hold the jump button, you just get your standard height jump. But if you double tap jump and hold it, you maintain the same jump duration, but you get a lot less height. So runners will use that in order to jump over pits, but avoid enemies or obstacles that are above them.
That little part with the 2 fighting guys, I think they're called Zeus guys, is pretty hard. Because if you break the foam wrong a little bit, then they'll fall down and punch Yoshi.
Yeah, those karate guys are extremely annoying.
There's a little bit of RNG too, where oh you jerk! Oh, rip.
Woo! Oh.
Yeah. Those,
almost saved it.
Those chomps, they fall down kind of randomly, and one can just be right in your path. And he almost had the recovery, but one decided to land right on top of him. So that's just bad luck mostly. You'll see this Baby Mario section. Calco was able to do basically kind of like a flutter with Baby Mario in order to get over that wall and save some time. But a death there isn't too bad because you are forced to get a save ring. So it's not as bad as it could be. Normally, runners will avoid save rings whenever possible.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
So here in 6-3, we have these spinning logs, which if you hit it on the left side, it will give you a significant amount of height. So you'll see Calco using that to get height without having to flutter. And this is the last fuzzy section, so I'll just pray that he gets fuzzy.
That was actually some really good egg shooting from Calco to get rid of those fuzzies.
Yeah, you do have some extra eggs to work with in that section. And then at the end of 6-3 here, you will see him hit the left side of the log, which gives him enough height so that he doesn't have to flutter at all.
Did he go for post jumps?
The first screen ones, but not the second screen or last screen.
Yeah, those posts that have those very small arrows, you can actually jump at a low enough height to where you just land on the post. But the window is pretty tight, and if you miss it, you're basically dead.
It feels easy, and then if you miss it, it's kind of nerve-wracking.
So 6-4 is one of those unique stages where this platform movement is constant, regardless of if the object is on screen or not. So if you get hit or if you miss something, that will completely mess up the platform cycle. So coming up here, we have a Salvo refight as a mini-boss, and he gives us a key that we need to progress. You'll see Calco run over to the wall and then back to the left in order to manipulate his jumping pattern in a certain way. So, nice fight.
Yeah, and this is a little, but he brought Salvo all the way over to the left. Sometimes when you're fighting him that way, he'll come back a little bit to the right. So that was pretty much as good as that fight could have gone.
Yeah, I know that a lot of new runners have a lot of trouble with this because once Salvo kind of goes on his way, sometimes he will go all the way to the left side of the screen, and he doesn't despawn. He will go wherever he wants. And then right there, you just saw Calco get an extended flutter off of a ghost enemy, and that skips another Salvo refight. And then coming up, we have Lava Skip. This saves about 2 or 3 seconds, and it's probably about 17 flutters or so. So we'll see how he does.
Calco's flutter is looking amazing this run.
Yeah, Calco's playing really good today.
He did just PB yesterday, so he's on fire.
Yeah, that's worth mentioning.
Before.
All right, so
Yeah.
with this tap boss, the easy way to do it is you just tap A 5 times, and that will kill him. But what you will see Calco do is he'll shoot an egg and then move backwards, and then repeat, and that allows you to defeat the boss in only 4 eggs. So very, very, very small optimization there. And I believe we are coming up on another auto-scroller, so donations.
Donations we got. $50 from Anonymous saying, shout out to the organizers, runners, and donors of another awesome event for a great cause. We got $100 from Anonymous saying, doing my part. P.S. For your information, Cecil's last name is Harvey. Awkward. I don't know what that's in reference to. I think it's a couple of games back. MX Chrono sent us $100 saying, so proud of the community coming together and putting on an event like this. Having family affected by Hurricane Sandy, I've seen how long it can take to recover from a disaster of this scale, so I know how much help is appreciated, how much this help is appreciated. I also want to praise the choice of recipient. Food banks are tremendously important at all times, but especially during crises. Good luck to both Link, the past runners, and thanks again to everyone involved. Oh, I guess we've got some old donations here. That's okay. I'm still glad to read them. Storm Raider gave us $100 saying thanks to GDQ for putting this event together so quickly. It's so amazing to watch any GDQ event and see what great things the gaming community can do together. This is going to saving the animals, just like we've been saving people for the past week. It's the only reasonable choice, people. I'm not sure I agree with that sentiment, but that reminds me I should read aloud. Super Metroid, Save or Kill the Animals, save is at $15,410. Kill the Animals is at $8,073. So I don't know, our audience has decided they don't want to save the frames today. I can't explain it myself. I've got another one like that. Anonymous gave us $75 and said, deer are animals too, save the animals, Deer Force! I understand, but I still don't want to save the animals. Magnanimous X gave us $25 and said, the dedication and support of all the players in this community is remarkable. What an amazing weekend this has been, and congratulations to everyone. You are all making a difference in this world. Beautiful James gave us $60 and said, as cool as it looks, would rather put the price for Mario plus Rabbids on Switch on helping relieve the victims down south. Great job all for organizing the support. I'm sorry you're going to miss out on that game, Beautiful James. Chris P154 gave us $100 and said, well done all on getting everything together so quickly and for the great support you're providing. Yes, and that reminds me, our total right now is $166,809, what? Just updated, $166,902. So I think we might clear $200,000 by the end of this run. By the end of this whole thing, this whole stream. I'm hoping that happens.
If I don't see $200,000, I'm gonna add Barbarian, and you don't want that.
Quickie Mart gave us $20 and said, I'm originally from Houston, and I still have many friends there. It's really tough to see the area that you grew up destroyed. Please take my donation, not only to help the people of Houston, but to save those animals as well.
Real quick, I just want to shill for the runners. If you aren't followed, definitely give these guys a follow. I'd love to hear a chain of Kolthor's follower alert from this event. And Calco, needless to say, is one of the most amazing 2D Mario runners out there. So definitely, if you haven't given these guys a follow, make sure to do so.
All right, so what Calco just did there was he skipped the auto scroller by jumping off of that ledge on the first frame. If you jump on the first possible frame, the camera will not follow Yoshi. And the way that auto scrollers work is there is a sprite that has to be loaded on screen. So by jumping on the first possible frame, it keeps the camera low so the auto scroller sprite never spawns. So that saves about 30 seconds.
Kiwi, it will warm your heart then to hear that. Be thankful my desktop audio is muted, because I forgot to turn off my follow alert on my one layout, and I had to literally go into my alert settings and delete the audio file because that's all I was hearing for like the first 10 minutes of the run.
Okay, good.
All right, so 6-6 here. There is an intended kind of little tunnel to get to the key that you need to open this door, but it is actually possible to tongue the key through the wall. So what you'll see Calco do is second try, nice. It's very hard. You have to tongue, then jump like 2 frames later, and then hold left like 7 frames after that. So it's a very, very hard trick. And then he is going to use this ghost enemy, this ghost shy guy, in order to get up to the key door without having to take the very long intended route. And nice, just use of an egg there. Hopefully we don't have a bonus situation, but we may. Okay, good. All right, so 6-7. First, we have this little big chomp chase sequence, and then after that, there is a lot of platforming where you're surrounded just by like pits and spikes and the like. So we'll see how he does here. There's going to be some camera manipulation coming up just to have these kind of green platform pinwheels spawn at the right time so that he can jump on the next one as soon as possible. So he's going to scroll the screen up.
Great awareness from Calco earlier. He missed getting on top of those platforms, but if you flutter underneath those green egg blocks, you can flutter for like quite a long time and just hold the A button. And so he did that until the platform came back down.
Then what he's going to do here is ground pound and try and land directly on that red platform. Very nice. And then from here, we're kind of forced to wait for this platform. So we have time for a couple donations.
Oh, first try.
Nice.
Sure, you got it. Kennex Cow gave us $100 and said, "Thank you, GDQ, for organizing this on such short notice." And Anonymous gave us $20, saying, "As a resident of downtown Houston, I just want to thank the organizers, runners, and donators of this marathon for helping all those affected by Harvey. Much love." And much love back to you, Anonymous. Alch Lauren gave us $20 and said, "Thanks to the runners, organizers, staff, and everyone involved in this impromptu event. This goes to the Mario Kart 64 bonus game." And you'll be happy to hear again, Alch Lauren, that we met that incentive and we'll be playing Mario Kart 64 after Beautiful Joe, which is next. Starboy gave us $20 and said, "This is such an incredible event, and it seemed like such a great time to donate to a great cause. Since we are saving Houston, why not save the animals as well?" Why not? That's because they're not real animals, Starboy. They're pixels on a screen. You're killing the frames. Shen108 gave us $5 and said, "This is my first donation for GDQ. I'm at the army and we had storms over here too in Austria, and we had to leave to aid the ones in need. I've seen how hard it is and I want to help at least a bit. Best community going ever." We appreciate it. At even $5, we appreciate every little bit, Shen108.
All right, so what Calco just did there was he grabbed that cactus enemy and spit it against the wall, and as it rebounds to the left, he re-grabbed it and spit it at the gate, and since the enemy was moving to the left, it opened the gate for him.
Yeah, basically the game checks the movement direction of the object that collides with the gate, and so even if you spit it from the left side, if it collides with that like far side of it and is moving left, and the game thinks it's coming from the far side.
MT, do you believe in 6-7 skip?
Oh man, I knew this was coming.
Might as well.
You have to.
Yeah.
So here we're in 6-8, the very last level, last transformation. And after this section, there are 4 possible routes that you can take. And what Calco is going to do here is he's going to do a timed egg shot to hit door 4 as soon as possible. There we go.
So Coulter right now is going for a pretty crazy strat.
Oh, that was... Oh.
And that was really close.
Oh.
That's essentially another one-frame trick that's like the one in the second level of the game that saves a big amount of time in 6-7.
Yeah,
and no one's ever gotten in a run.
You get to skip this entire platform section, so it saves probably around like 40 seconds or so.
One day the dream.
And then on this screen that Calco's in, basically you just need to avoid getting hit, because getting hit will freeze the game for a brief amount of time.
The Bowser fight coming up is pretty cool. Your egg aiming, instead of being like horizontal is now like vertical, and you aim at Bowser off in the distance. So there's a lot of complexity to the fight, and it's kind of hard to get a perfect Bowser fight.
Yeah, you need to hit Bowser with 7 eggs, and it is pretty tough to get a 7-shot fight, or a fast 7-shot fight. And one interesting thing about the end of the screen is there is a save ring, but when you enter the boss door, the game automatically saves. So it's not even a required thing even to save your progress. All right, so in this Baby Bowser fight, all you need to do is ground pound him 3 times. There are small ways to speed it up. You might see Calco jump on Bowser's head instead of waiting for him to jump and ground pound. We'll just see what he does. And nice backster by Colbert.
Yep.
Okay, looks like Calco is just gonna wait for Bowser to ground pound. That's fine. And the most important strat, nice.
Yeah.
TIA.
Good man with the TIA.
I bet I know what TIA stands for.
Today in Atlanta.
So, coming up, very, very last bit of the boss fight with probably my favorite music in the game. So after you hit Bowser with 3 eggs, he will stop running forward, and he will do this this animation where he kind of calls these rocks to fall down and destroy some of the ground here. And then you need just 4 more eggs, and that's it. Nice job.
Great.
That's the last one. And then time will be when he presses A to close the text box that's coming up. And time.
Nice. What do you get? What do you get?
Calco got a 142.05 or 06, I think.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, that's a PB for Calco, so fantastic run.
Yeah, wow.
Congrats, Calco.
That is awesome. Calco, you are a legend.
Calco's PB before was a 143.15, so have to wait on him for the actual exact timing, but looks definitely like a PB to me.
And that's a great run for a marathon.
Fantastic. And nice TIA by Kolthor as well. And we'll just have to enjoy the credits music while Kolthor finishes up here.
It's good music, so you can't really go wrong.
Nice soothing music for our boss fight.
Yeah.
The way that the eggs spawn in this fight is kind of weird. The eggs will not spawn basically if you're moving the camera very fast. So like to spawn the eggs, you either want to keep the camera completely still or just change the direction that you're facing so that the camera slowly pans over.
Yeah, that's a common mistake by newer runners, is just to go back and forth looking for that egg. But unfortunately, depending on which side it's on, you're probably just despawning the egg over and over again.
Yeah, and the eggs spawn on like a certain time interval, so it just makes it kind of weird. Like once your spawning rhythm gets thrown off, you have to just kind of just basically wait, and instead of kind of panicking and just running left and right.
Nice.
And time for Kolthor is coming up.
And time. Yeah.
Okay. So congrats to Kolthor and huge congrats to Calco.
What was my time?
Around a 146.20.
Oh wow, that's actually a lot. That's not bad.
Yeah, that was. I timed it at 146.20. So I don't know if those are official times, but that's what was on the screen. Yeah, they've got them on the stream now, and you've got 146.20, and Calco says 143.06. Fantastic times.
And if you want to run this game, or if you just want to learn some tricks in this game, we have a wiki at yoshi.science. And the Discord is discord.yoshi.science. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask us.
Aww. Awesome. Yeah, great job, guys.
If you could hear me, Calco, fantastic run, man. That was awesome. You got chicken. Oh man, that was sick. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.